That's a Shame is brought to you by the people who support us over at patreon.com/shamecity.
If you have $1,
$2.
$1 to spare, join us again at patreon.com/shamecity. Please.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello and welcome to another great big episode, and I use big metaphorically here, of Tas a Shame. That's the new name of the show that we use
That's
internally.
a shame.
That's what we call it in our when we're having communiques.
That's a shame, a shame. That's what you always sing in the flat.
Why? What's that a reference to?
That's just what you sing all the time.
Oh, do I? I've not noticed. I do a lot of stuff when I'm looking the other way. I'm Isaac. Joining me over there wearing a great big teddy bear shirt.
Thank
it's
you.
Declan D.
It's a sort of teddy bear racist.
Yeah, he does have the look of a racist about him, that bear.
He's got the pie shoes and wristwatch.
He looks like he might be part of the firm, if you're familiar with the firm.
Yes.
What that means is it's when there's a football business and the business is beating guys, beating up fellas. And that bear could be one of them.
Profits minimal.
Absolutely. Very, very low expenses. Very high turnover of punching and stuff. Such like that. How's your life? Good, is it?
We won't talk about
We're
it.
heading out of the lockdown any minute. We're going to go crazy.
God, how many days have we... Well, we've got like a week or so left, haven't we?
It's good because it's just the day after my birthday, so I do get the lockdown birthday.
But have you heard about the anti-lockdown?
No, go on.
We're going to have an anti-lockdown.
Oh, the Christmas
week
week.
of Christmas, yeah. Where the virus... we've arranged a sort of parlay with the coronavirus.
Our best guys have
with
been
the
meeting
novel
with
coronavirus.
Theirs. Our people met their people, and the coronavirus, it did get cucked by our big negotiators.
It got diplomacy right out the window.
Yeah.
So it will be at bay for that week so that we can enjoy Christ's
will you be doing?
birthday.
Shopping and that as well.
Yeah, I'll be going out. I'll probably just be dicking down everywhere.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
that's festive.
That's what I think.
That's very festive.
That's what
Fucking
it's
elf.
what the season's about.
It is, and we'll of course have a reason for the season for you, complete with festive smut.
Up the wazoo.
Over on December that would be. What have we got today though?
Well, what we haven't got is the same episode as last week, which you may remember didn't
happen.
exist.
Yeah, it didn't happen. It was the longest one we've done.
It was
in a
possibly
while.
the longest episode we've ever recorded.
It was like an hour 40 something.
Yeah.
It was. I can't really tell if it was good or not. I think it was. There were bits.
There were bits of it that were very good. I think
But maybe
there were
we
bits of
went
it
on
that
a
were
bit
nonsense.
Yeah, that's
The fact it was that long without us realising is probably a poor sign. That there was a lot of ramblage.
Yeah, probably
going on.
But anyway, God intervened and he did a big hum all over it. He sent down one of his humming angels to just hum it right out of existence. I mean, you could hear it, but you could also hear horrible noise. So we didn't release it because we at Shame City have high audio standards.
We do.
You'll know that if you've ever listened to our early episodes where it just sounds like we're sort of shouting into a beehive.
Awful.
Really good stuff. But
so this week, what I thought was we'd go for something shorter.
that's good because we don't want to tempt God again.
No, exactly. And I thought the poorer the content, the less likely he is to bother
really
sending
smart.
down his angels.
So it's like security through obscurity is how we keep this podcast out of anyone's ears.
It's so poor that even the crummiest of angels wouldn't be sent
That's really good
to mess with this. It's a classic. It's a classic sort of feature.
Yeah.
It's not even really a feature.
I've noticed there are no cups.
It's barely an episode,
Wow.
if I'm honest. But
That's exciting.
it's something to fill the time with a few fun things to talk about.
Yeah.
And I've been reading some headlines again. I've got some news.
Propaganda is to a democracy what the bludgeon is to a totalitarian state.
The news, let me say these days, just to jump in early,
Are you going to be talking about the liberal news media?
the news for me, it's never been less relevant. I think it's safe to say that no truth happens in those pages.
Is that
anymore.
because of... and are you talking
'cause
mainly
of
about the
MSN.
lamestream media?
Yeah, you know about it as well.
I
know
heard.
I've sent you some of my pamphlets that I've been working on.
Yeah.
I haven't published any of them yet because that turns out that is doing news of my own and I can't.
And if it were fake, then you'd look like such a hypocrite.
God,
wouldn't you?
after the YouTube rants I've been on Let me tell you, my Parler would be fucking shut down. Mastodon wouldn't have me.
Are they allowed, Parler, to get rid of you?
Oh, for
Isn't
sure.
there a whole thing that you could say whatever you want?
No, but they actually have like so many rules. I think we talked about this before, but I do love watching the speed run of these new communities that exist only to circumvent like the, oppressive SJW
force of-
snowflake of Jack Dorsey.
Absolute socialist
Fucking
and
hell.
billionaire Jack Dorsey.
But just watching them when they're like, fuck, this happens on Reddit very entertainingly. So like, they'll make a subreddit that's like, true Ask Reddit, or like, videos after dark or something. It's like, what we're going to post here, beheadings. And then like someone will post that and they'll be like, okay, but we won't have those. It's like, okay, so you've got a rule now. And like 1 minute later you look away. It's a bit like that Simpsons episode where Lisa gets a little civilization based on from a tooth. And within mere weeks, they've basically just become the same
exact
thing,
same rule
but
set.
with no one there.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, well, this is just shitter. It's just not worth ever going there. So yeah, it's nice to see. The news, however, is not nice to see, and that's how I'll tie that back around, because here's the problem with it. Well, it's not true.
None of it.
We know that Trump won the election. We're at Shame City. We
do.
have our fingers deep in those electoral pies.
We say MAGA,
Yeah.
make America great again.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't know quite where you're going with that. I thought that was just a funny way you had to say
No,
it.
that's what we say.
You keep saying there's a lot of things that I say, and I don't remember many of them, but I don't know if that's me.
It's weird, isn't it? Because normally it's the other way around. That
Because you forget a lot of stuff, you mean?
well, you say about all these things that we say. Or that
Yeah,
we
I say
do,
true ones. I say true ones.
and I no recollection.
You've dived into the news, though, and I hope you wore some kind of prophylactic, because I don't want you picking up any of those news germs.
I did. Don't you worry. Hazmat fully
Nice.
on. I've got 3 stories here.
Okay,
one of which
stories. You can say it like that if you like.
one of which includes what I'll call a shallow dive, a skim.
Very nice.
But what I've done, just because we don't always do this here at TAS a shame, is I've ended on a high.
Oh, that's lovely.
So that we can all, start or end the week, depending on how and when you listen to this.
And where you consider the week limits to be. Some people do Tuesday to Tuesday. I was reading about.
I hope they don't listen to this show.
I've banned all of them.
We are going to start, however, that means with some
real low note.
Yeah, a real low note.
Okay, let me get in a somber mood.
This is from Iowa Capital Dispatch.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the big
Which is one of the places, that's one of the few stalwarts, the few
Is it?
remaining, the last bastions of the not fake news.
Really? That's where they've all gone?
Yeah, that's where I
That's
go for
cool
my.
to know.
That's where I go for the lottery results. That's where
That's
I go for all
very good
sorts.
to know.
Lawsuit, : Tyson managers bet money on how many workers would contract COVID-19.
Wow, fun bet there, guys.
A wrongful death lawsuit tied to COVID-19 infections in a Waterloo pork processing plant alleges that during the initial stages of the pandemic, Tyson Foods ordered employees to report for work while supervisors privately wagered money on the number of workers who would be sickened by the deadly virus. Sickened in that sense
Makes
is
it sound
really
like they're
archaic.
repulsed.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm
Keep it away.
Absolutely disgusted by
What's on
this.
my Waterloo pork? I did think it was going to be about Mike Tyson's managers.
No.
And I was wondering how many employees they had. Whether they're just betting on whether Mike Tyson
It was just
going
between
to
the
get
5
the
of them. Yeah. Earlier this year, the family of the late Isidro Fernandez sued the meatpacking company, alleging Fernandez was exposed to the coronavirus at the Waterloo plant where he worked. The lawsuit alleges Tyson Foods is guilty of a, quote, willful and wanton disregard for workplace safety.
They were just sneezing it up. Sneezing on a conveyor.
Yes.
Good.
That is basically it seems.
Sounds like a winnable
Tyson
case.
Foods President and Chief Executive Officer Dean Banks, which is the
Dean
most...
Banks.
I know.
That's the most fake name.
It's such a... Imagine being the CEO of a company and your surname is Banks.
He's for sure
Proper,
got like backstory where someone just found him in an office once and were like, "Who are you?" And he's
Banks.
Banks.
Banks, you're running the
You're
division.
promoted. I like your attitude.
You're running
Banks.
East Coast now.
Yeah, you got him right over to meatpacking, old Dean Banks.
Proper Sophia Money Coots level of surname, of nominal determinism there. We are extremely upset, he said, about the accusations involving some of the leadership at our Waterloo plant. Tyson Foods is a family company with 139,000 team members.
That's a big family.
Yeah, and also a lot of scope for this betting. I was thinking you've got a lot of margins there.
The over-under on it must be huge.
And these allegations do not represent who we are or our core values and team behaviours. I do love when this happens because it quite clearly does reflect that because they were all doing it.
Yeah, although it's a really like banal thing to say that something doesn't reflect your core values, like because like you said, by definition it kind of does. But also, like, of course, one of your core values is we want our employees to die of coronavirus. Like, that's not going to be one of their stated aims on their ethos on their websites. Like, we value honesty, trust, integrity, and coughing on
the dying
immigrant workers. Yeah,
yeah. No, that's very much that's the quiet part.
Yeah.
It just so happened these guys were saying it out loud. It's very funny. I would quite like. I think I would respect in the same way that we've talked before about how it's much easier to hate the like centre left, or the like libs than it is sort of the Tories sometimes, because at least they're just sort of being quite open about what they think.
Yeah.
But like I think respect a company if they came out and they were like, we don't really care about worker safety.
It would be really good.
We don't really we don't care if you're happy here.
We don't make it fun. We don't want it to be fun. We want you to just work for this many hours. We don't care if you're enjoying it. We'll never.
We will pay you as little as possible. Like every time I have ever interviewed for a job and been successful, and then you get to do like a little orientation day or training period, and they're like, here, you know, we really care about you.
We're all fucking.
It's one team, one dream.
I've never heard that expression.
Yeah, that was the one
That's
at
really
UW.
Good.
One team, one dream. Yeah.
What did they specify was the dream?
Yeah, there was a dream. There was a specific written out dream. Yeah.
That the CEO had once and said, this is everyone's now. We're all naked in my school cafeteria.
My teeth were falling out. So are yours. No, it was something about, really good customer service.
What a dream.
And let me tell you.
No better one that I can think of in rhetoric.
I never feel better rested than when I wake up having dreamt
the perfect call into action.
Yeah.
I love that phrase. I'm going to use it all the time.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought that would
it's
be
right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah,
I love nonsense that rhymes. That's like my two favourite things.
Let me tell you about this guy called C.S. Lewis.
Whoa.
You're gonna fucking lose your mind. Yeah. So they were all huge on that, and then of course, as soon as you want a little bit of understanding for something, it's like, well, I'm afraid that
it's quite a restrictive dream.
We would take into account. These issues you're having with your mental health and your physical health, and the fact that you need to spend this time away, and the fact that you don't want to be, coming into a building full of people when there's a pandemic on.
Is it? Sorry, but this is quite a specific example. Is this?
Oh, this could happen to anyone.
Oh, right. It's nothing. You're not like ranting about something that happened to you. Okay, cool.
But yeah, it looks like you have been 20 seconds late back from your lunch break a few times.
So you're going to have to die.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to. It's not just the risk. I'm going to have to give you the novel coronavirus.
It's big, isn't it?
It's huge.
The big corporate space.
But apparently, no. Tyson Foods, they're a family company. We expect every team member at Tyson Foods to operate with the utmost integrity and care in everything we do.
In everything. That's tiring.
They've suspended without pay the individuals allegedly involved.
In the betting ring.
In the betting, yeah. Mm-hmm. Not the ones that were bet upon to be dead.
I don't, it's not good that they did that, but it's really it's not like it makes more people get coronavirus. Unless they were also like putting their thumb on the scales and being like, well, I bet everyone's going to get it because I'm going to make sure of it. Is that what they were doing?
Yeah, like that. Oh. That is basically it. So,
well, in that case, I would.
So Fernandez unfortunately passed in it, and he was one of at least 5 plant employees who died of the virus.
Oh my god! In the same one plant,
more than 1,000 of them. Which is over a third of the facility's workforce have contracted the virus.
Hell.
The lawsuit alleges that despite the uncontrolled spread of the virus, Tyson required its employees to work long hours in cramped conditions without providing the appropriate personal protective equipment and without ensuring workplace safety measures were followed.
How unusual.
So here's some of the stuff. So remembering here this sentence, our top priority is and remains the health and safety of our team members.
Yeah.
In mid-April, around the time Black Hawk County Sheriff Tony Thompson visited the plant and reported the working conditions there, quote, shook him to the core.
Ooh.
Plant manager Tom Hart organised a cash buy-in winner-take-all betting pool for supervisors and managers to wager how many plant employees would test positive for COVID-19. Like, I love that it's not like, five as in like, how many do you
organised.
reckon? It's right. This is what we've got. We've got these odds, this much in, winner take all.
Really.
He's rattling off. He's got a flat cap on. John Casey, an upper-level manager at the plant, is alleged to have explicitly directed supervisors to ignore symptoms of COVID-19, telling them to show up to work even if they were exhibiting symptoms of the virus. Casey reportedly referred to COVID-19 as the, quote, glorified flu and told workers not to worry about it because, quote, it's not a big deal and, quote, everyone is going to get it.
Right.
And in a sense, he was right about that plot.
Well, that sounded like it wasn't so much.
Everyone's going to get it because if you don't, I've lost 5k.
That was just him telling them tomorrow's plan. That was his dream.
On one occasion, Casey intercepted a sick supervisor who was on his way to be tested and ordered him to get back to work, saying, "We all have the symptoms. You have a job to do."
Fucking hell. What do you mean we all have symptoms? It's not like The Incredibles, therefore no one does. That means we all should get tested. Why are these...
And specifically, none of us should be packing meat.
Why? I'm fascinated by... It's hardly a novel observation, but they're like... People that get to that level of a company where they're not really like in charge of much, but the little power that they have, they just want to like keep everyone else dying of coronavirus all the time.
Well, here's another example. After one employee vomited on the production line
onto the meat,
managers reportedly, I don't like the use of this
sucked
verb,
up the meat.
Reportedly allowed the man to continue working and then to return to work the next day.
Wow. That's big. That's very big.
In late March or early April, as the pandemic spread across Iowa, managers at the Waterloo plant reportedly began avoiding the plant floor for fear of contracting the virus.
Yeah, well, you would.
As a result, they increasingly delegated managerial authority and responsibility to low-level supervisors who had no management training or experience. The supervisors did not require truck drivers and subcontractors to have their temperatures checked before entering the plant.
Well, I mean, there was no point at that stage, sounds like to me. It sounds like they've already sort of jumped the shark.
Although Tyson paid out $500 thank you bonuses to employees who turned up for every scheduled shift for 3 months.
That's
a policy decision that allegedly incentivized sick workers to continue reporting for work.
What do you mean allegedly?
Allegedly, again, that's not doing so much heavy lifting.
Just obviously did.
Yeah. So it looks like they're going to win.
Well, I mean, surely. What could their defence be?
This last sentence I thought you might enjoy. The Waterloo facility is Tyson's largest pork plant in the United States. The facility employs approximately 2,800 workers who process approximately 19,500 hogs per day.
Wow, the HPD is off the charts on that. It's crazy.
Hogs per day. It's such a...
That's just so many pigs, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a lot, isn't it?
It's insane. Well, there we go. That's story number one. I think, what theme can we take? What lessons and learnings have you taken from that?
Oh, none.
Okay, cool.
I was thinking we should have a bet about the building, maybe.
About this flat.
In the NW9 group.
That'd be big.
I thought we'd stick with the coronavirus for the second of our 3 stories.
But the third one's a deviation.
The third one is a complete deviation.
Because it's hard to get very upbeat about.
Yeah.
Really challenging.
Coronavirus killing bad people too.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Carson says he used unproven COVID-19 treatment recommended by MyPillow CEO.
I heard about this, but I didn't look into it, which I'm glad about.
Housing and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson. I think we all kind of forgot that he actually had a big job.
He really fell off the radar.
Yeah, said in a new interview that he took oleander extract, an unapproved herbal supplement that has been promoted by CEO of MyPillow after contracting COVID-19.
What might MyPillow be? Do you have knowledge of that?
So MyPillow, it is a company.
Do you rent a pillow that has like podcasts built into it? Or
No,
something?
they're just pillows.
No, they just sell pillows.
Yeah, they're just pillows.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's that is
They've got
unfortunately
financing available on all orders above $200, which tells me that this is not just any pillow. This is very overpriced.
These are very expensive pillows that you're being flogged by an absolute snake oil salesman. The Washington Post reports Carson, a former neurosurgeon, now we're going to come to that in a bit, said he took the extract after it was recommended by Mike Lindell. Lindell, who also served as President Trump's Minnesota campaign chairman, has a financial stake in the company that makes the extract, the Post
That's
notes.
a coincidence.
Carson told the newspaper that his symptoms disappeared within hours after taking the supplement, also called oleandrin.
Do you think he's been like practicing neurosurgeon on his own head?
I like
Done an
okay.
accident.
So this is it. Like, I mean, I'm assuming that most of our listeners will be at least broadly familiar with who he is. But I just wanted to read this because when you do look into it, you have to wonder what's going on.
Yeah, something's gone quite badly wrong.
This is the last paragraph from the introduction on his Wikipedia page. Carson has received numerous honours for his neurosurgery work, including more than 60 honorary doctorate degrees and numerous national merit citations. In 2001, he was named by CNN and Time magazine as one of the nation's 20 foremost physicians and scientists, and was elected by the Library of Congress, selected by the Library of Congress as one of the 89 living legends on its 200th anniversary. In 2008, Carson was bestowed the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian award in the United States. In 2010, he was elected into the National Academy of Medicine. He was the subject of a 2009 TV film, Gifted Hands, the Ben Carson story, where he was portrayed by Cuba Gooding Jr.
Wow.
Now,
I've never heard of that.
How does that happen and you also be the biggest dope going?
It is quite strange. I can only assume that there's some kind of undiagnosed madness within him.
He's got the madness in him. I found some quotes of his, some other like times that we will dive into in a second, just to have a little look. Apparently, Mike Lindell, the MyPillow CEO, said anybody who's ever gotten COVID and taken this oleander extract
has been fine.
They are fine in 5 hours, and next day are running around playing floor hockey in the hallway
all the time.
That's single
really
person.
Weird. That's almost like you're giving them another illness, which is this insatiable desire to play floor hockey.
But
what's floor hockey? Is that just what you call not ice hockey?
I presume it's maybe, or like what you play in, like if you do it in the house.
What?
If you're just playing hockey indoors.
Who's playing hockey
Well,
indoors?
I don't know who is. I assume nobody.
He's got a huge house, is the why.
Now, he did say that, and the Hill here does say that that's despite the lack of scientific evidence to suggest oleander extract is useful in treating COVID-19, let alone
cynical,
completely successful. In an August interview with ABC News, Carson appeared more reluctant to give the plant extract his full seal of approval. It's not time for it yet, said Carson, adding that it should go through human trials, which he then proceeded to do on himself.
And by human trials, I mean
I'm going to eat
body.
all of it. What hopefully will happen is that clinical trials will occur. This should go the same route as other things do. We shouldn't, skip the process, he said a month before skipping the process.
That's really bold of Ben. Well, I guess, needs must. He must have been pushed right to the limit. And I guess he can't do a lot of neurosurgery if he's coughing and sneezing.
This is an amazing twist in the story. He also said the Food and Drug Administration was studying the extract and referenced Lindell's reported push for the extract's use during meetings with Trump. You know what happened with Mike Lindell, who's a fantastic salesperson, but not a scientist, perhaps distorts the process, Carson said at the time. However, Matthew Hines, a physician caring for COVID-19 patients, told ABC News in August that oleander extract can be dangerous.
Oh, no.
Quote, "This is not a friendly plant. Don't go near this plant," said Hines, who added that he had to field calls about oleander poisoning while he was staffed a poison control center hotline. Accidentally ingesting even small amounts can kill you, cautioned Hines.
No, damn. Don't go near this plant.
Oh, wow. Well, I hadn't even got this far in the extract in the article when I read it, but in August, CNN anchor Anderson Cooper referred to Lindell as a, quote, snake oil salesman for pushing oleander extract as a therapeutic treatment.
You're really the UK's Anderson Cooper, I've always thought.
Thank you. During his interview with Cooper, Lindell said promoting the unproven extract was what, quote, Jesus has me do.
This guy is off his head.
And claimed the extract had been studied, that he failed to provide any details.
Oh, no, he lost it. He left it in his other
When
bag.
pressed, Lindell shot back at Cooper, Why would I do this? Ask yourself, why would I ruin my reputation if I didn't believe in this product?
Yeah.
Money, answered Cooper. You don't have a great reputation.
Yeah.
You have an F from the Better Business Bureau.
Wow, that's a real dunk.
So a couple of other quotes from Ben Carson.
I love this plant, said Ben, chomping down on a stem.
I think this is my favourite. On Joseph and the Pyramids.
Why? In what context was he? Was he waxing lyrical about the Old Testament?
Here we go. This is from an article in 2015. On Wednesday, BuzzFeed published an article featuring a video of the then Johns Hopkins neurosurgeon delivering a commencement address at Andrews College in 1998, in which he discussed his belief that the pyramids in Egypt were built as granaries, not as tombs for pharaohs. Quote, my own personal theory. Now,
this is an amazing start. Why did it come up in his commencement address?
Quite often as well, you don't need to have a personal theory about
things that
are established historical fact.
Yeah.
My own personal theory is that Joseph built the pyramids to store grain.
What? Why?
Now, all the archaeologists think they were made for the pharaoh's graves.
What with there being no grain inside?
But,
and no evidence of Joseph.
It would have to be something awfully big if you stop and think about it.
Like grain?
And I don't think it would just disappear over the course of time to store that much grain, he told students, according to the video posted.
How much grain does he think they needed?
Carson defended his beliefs on Thursday, telling reporters in Miami that, quote, some people believe in the Bible, like I do, and don't find that to be silly at all, and believe that God created the earth, and don't find that to be silly at all. Yeah. The secular progressives try to ridicule it any time it comes up, and they're welcome to do that, he added.
That's nice. He doesn't want to be confrontational. There's just a slight difference between, believing the things that it does say in the Bible and kind of scrawling in the margins your own little Ben Carson additions, which is Joseph did the pyramids to make bread. Like, what is he talking about?
But I just don't know. Like, he hasn't provided us with any details as to why he has this alternative theory.
Joseph
why has he got a vendetta against the archaeologists who have decided this and who've studied it?
It's really weird.
What was happening the day he came up with that? Did he always believe that they were for grain?
Somewhere to store all of his Ben Carson grain,
or had he previously believed they were tombs and then read something that radicalized him online?
I'd love to follow him down this rabbit hole. I think I might start believing this.
Okay, should we make it an official show belief?
Yeah, why not? Any of Ben's beliefs about the pyramids will follow from now on.
On how he would handle an active shooter situation, the candidate told Fox and Friends that if a gunman like the one who killed 9 people at Umpqua Community College in Oregon had walked up to him and asked his religion, he would not go along.
Oh, well done, Ben.
And then he said, not only would I probably not cooperate with him, I would not just stand there and let him shoot me. I would say, hey guys, everybody attack him. He may shoot me, but he can't get us all, Carson suggested when talking about the October killing.
That's like the Jacob Rees-Mogg, I'm too smart to die in a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you think that? It's just madness.
It's so.
I'll just say, hey
silly.
Everyone, let's attack this gunman.
This is another, but this is all because he's massive pro-gun ownership, to the point of saying this. I grew up in the slums of Detroit. I saw plenty of gun violence as a child. Both my cousins were killed in the streets. As a doctor, I spent many a night pulling bullets out of bodies, he wrote. There is no doubt that this senseless violence is breathtaking, but I never saw a body with bullet holes that was more devastating than taking the right to arm away from ourselves.
Wow. That's a really chilling thing to say. Because at least normally when people are gun rights advocates, they haven't personally interacted with bullet-riddled corpses.
No.
Or soon-to-be corpses.
They're rich people who hunt deer.
And the fact that you could spend your hours at, emergency room doing that and then be like, but this is good. Ben Carson is really unhinged.
Yeah, he is actually not well. He keeps seems to have a habit of comparing absolutely everything to the Holocaust or the Second World War.
It's probably one book he's read about history.
Yeah, he said that we're living in a Gestapo age.
Referring to
just generally.
Okay.
He just said, I've been told,
he got
here
the date wrong.
I mean, very much like Nazi Germany. And I know you're not supposed to talk about Nazi Germany, but I don't care about political correctness.
No.
He also seems to say that every time he mentions
anything.
You know, you had a government using its tools to intimidate a population. We now live in a society where people are afraid to say what they actually believe. And it's because of the PC police. It's because of politicians, because of news. All of these things are combining to stifle people's conversations. Now, I remember doing history AS, and I've got to concur with
you
him.
mean AS level rather than anti-Semitism?
Yes,
just to be clear.
Yeah. And one of the most chilling things I remember was all of the people in Nazi Germany who were arrested and thrown in jail by the PC police.
Yeah, simply for starting a Twitter account and tweeting about how Joseph hid all the graves.
Simply for loving their country.
It's so sad to see great thinkers silenced.
He referred to
Egyptology.
Yeah, he referred to Obamacare as the worst thing that's happened to this nation since slavery. And then he said, and it is, in a way, it is slavery.
Did he elaborate on how? And why?
Because it is making us all subservient to the government. And it was never about healthcare, it was about control.
Right.
On a separate occasion, Carson suggested that Obamacare was worse than 9/11. Though he walked back the comments back in the next day.
Of course he did.
On whether being gay is a choice.
Let me guess where Ben's going to land on this
A
one.
lot of people who go into prison straight, and when they come out, they're gay. So did something happen while they were in there? Ask yourself that question, he told Chris Cuomo.
That's such a fucking he said what clickhole energy. It means nothing. It has almost no relevance.
Carson apologised later in the day. I do not pretend to know how every individual came to their sexual orientation. I regret that my words to express that concept were hurtful and divisive.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
He's trying hard, isn't he? I mean,
he is.
He's just out there with some wacky theories. I think he'd be much happier if he could just settle down and become a kind of prize-winning neuroscientist by day and deep conspiracy gunter at night.
Do you know what? I've saved, I think, my favourites for last. There was another about Nazi Germany.
I'm not so into those. I'm mostly into his ones about pyramids.
It's not a pyramid one. I'm just seeing here because there were a couple.
Is he QAnon, Ben Carson? He seems like the right target for
I mean, if he isn't, it's only because he hasn't managed to stumble across any of it.
He hasn't found that webpage yet.
No.
I'm going to email it to him.
Oh, he also equated abortion to slavery. That's just another fun thing. He used the Holocaust to defend gun rights. Brought up the Holocaust again. Right. This is such a good speech. This is, again, like just a feature-length version of a clickhole they said what, I think. On comparing the D-Day invasion to his presidential campaign and movement. Speaking to the National Press Club, Carson drew an analogy between his presidential campaign and the D-Day invasion of Normandy in World War II. What if on D-Day, our soldiers invading the beaches at Normandy had seen their colleagues being cut down, 100 bodies laying in the sand, 1,000 bodies laying in the sand? What if they had been frightened and turned back? He asked in his concluding speech. Well, I guarantee you they were frightened, but they didn't turn back. They stepped over the bodies of their colleagues, knowing in many cases that they would never see their homeland or their loved ones again. And they stormed those Axis troops, and they took that beach, and they died. Why did they do that? They didn't do that for themselves. They did it for you. And they did it for me. And now it's our turn, he went on. And what we are willing to do for our children and our grandchildren, are we willing to stand up? Or are we afraid that somebody's going to call us a nasty name? Or that we're going to get an IRS audit? Or that somebody's going to mess with our job?
That is the same.
You know, we have a lot less to lose than they did. And the people who are always telling me to hang in there, don't let them get to you. Believe me, do not worry about it, because the stakes are much too high.
What? He's argued against himself about 4 times. He was saying that don't worry, life is fine compared to D-Day.
To them,
so
but also we need to have the exact same spirit.
Meaningless.
Imagine just the sentence, believe me, do not worry about it, because the stakes are much too high.
Yeah,
it couldn't mean anything.
He's got I need to investigate more into Ben, because of course my only really abiding memory of Ben Carson's campaign is that incredible video of when they announce all the Republican presidential candidates in the primaries.
And he just won't walk on.
Yeah, it's him that starts the whole problem, right?
Yeah.
He just won't go because
he's just stand. No, isn't it? I think he's standing and he's wanting to like shake everyone's hand before they go on.
It's also something like they announce that maybe it's Trump. The whole thing is such a confusing.
It's so funny.
Excellent.
It was such an
sketch.
amazing thing.
Like you could not write a better portrayal of just total incompetence on every possible level. But yeah, that's like my main abiding thing. But I thought maybe that was like a blip in an otherwise like a normal, educated, not mad about the Old Testament,
the grain
theories life of Ben's. But it turns out, how wrong was I?
I'd have been a much more fervent supporter if I'd known he had such a strong
campaigned
stance on
policy,
pyramids.
If his whole presidential platform
He would
was,
win.
We will teach this in school.
Yeah.
And only this. Maths? No.
No more
only
doctors.
In as much as like counting the grains, things like that. Yeah, that would be big.
I thought I only had the one more, the last one, but I did have another, which I won't read in full. It is just a fantastic thing to have happened. Oregon man sues, alleging he went to doctor for distress over marital woes, only to find physician was having an affair with his wife. A Bend man was experiencing depression as a result of his failing marriage, so went to his family physician, who counselled him on ways to improve his marriage and prescribed him marijuana and CBD.
Very good.
The patient now claims in a lawsuit that all along the doctor, Ronald Rosen, was having an affair with his
Ronald.
wife. That's so funny.
That's classic. Ronald.
That's amazing. As a result of Rosen's conduct, plaintiff sustained emotional distress, including the loss of his marriage and emotional social destruction of his family. The lawsuit states Rosen did not return messages left at his office.
Oh, that's very, very funny of Ronald. He should have prescribed that he goes like on a long holiday.
I know. It's so funny that he gave him Rosen counselled Tone and offered him solutions to enhance and heal his marriage and prescribed him herbs and breathing techniques for his depression, in addition to marijuana and CBD.
Very good.
It's so funny that he gave him literally everything.
Give him small dick pills.
That gave it away.
Very clever.
Now, here we go. This is a good article.
Yeah, we need to pick me up because, albeit amusing, the kind of broader context of everything Ben Carson was talking about is really bad, isn't it?
It's
saying
awful.
Everything's the Holocaust and everything's slavery.
When none of it is.
When only those things were.
Yeah.
So far, it seemed, at least from the examples he mentioned.
Fat, flightless parrot named Bird of the Year after a campaign tainted by voter fraud.
Yes, I love stuff like this.
Here's a picture of it. You've probably seen it.
No, I haven't.
Have you not?
No,
you should watch videos of it. It's very good. It cannot fly. It just walks along the ground.
That's fine for me.
Yeah,
I'm not.
That's where I'm most likely to see a parrot.
Yeah, so it's helpful, to be honest.
A lengthy and bitter election campaign that dragged in competing interest groups and was sullied by a voter fraud scandal came to an unlikely end on Monday when a fat, flightless and nocturnal parrot stunned pundits to claim an upset victory. The kakapo, officially the world's heaviest parrot, won New Zealand's Bird of the Year vote after a weeks-long campaign that rivaled human politics contests in intensity.
It's very funny that Bird of the Year is one individual bird rather than just like, this year it's the robin, this year it's eagle.
It is that, but...
Oh, but this one is like subverting all expectations. And
it was this type of bird, the kakapo. Okay. It did everything, it overcame the odds.
Oh, I see.
It's not the same bird. It's not just the one.
Oh, that's disappointing. I was hoping it was one guy.
No. Unfortunately not.
Autograph.
It became the first bird to win the contest for a second time, a feat not explicitly prohibited by the country's constitution, and snatched victory thanks to the competition's unique and convoluted voting system, having lost the outright popular vote to the Antipodean albatross.
Oh, we've all been there.
In a stunning upset, the kakapo swoops in from behind to claw the title of #Bird of the Year 2020 away from the competition frontrunner, Forest and Bird, the environmental group that organises the annual contest, announced on social media on Monday.
Good
the New Zealand competition apparently frequently turns heated as politicians, celebrities and online groups endorse their preferred creature.
But New Zealand has such a different set of priorities at the moment.
Preferred creature as well makes it sound like some of them are suggesting things other than birds to win. But this year's event became particularly controversial after organisers detected more than 1,500 fraudulent votes cast using fake email addresses traced back to the same IP address.
Wow.
Briefly pushed the little spotted kiwi to the top of the leaderboard. Amid a flurry of endorsements for various contenders... sex toy retailer Adult Toy Megastore backed the Hi-Hi, which it says practices, quote, consensual polyamory.
No.
And campaigners for the different contenders sought to canvass votes across various media, with supporters of the Takahi, a large flightless rail, creating a TikTok account to boost youth turnout.
It's very good.
Ultimately, however, the defeated favourites graciously conceded defeat to the Kakapo, which previously won the award in 2008.
Good on it.
It's been a tight race throughout the election period, but at Team Kakapo snatched victory from the beak of defeat and has overtaken us in the instant runoff voting at the end, said the Albatross for Bird of the Year campaign on Twitter.
Why have they all got fucking campaign teams?
I know, it's a big thing apparently. It says here a history of vote fixing. Organisers said more than 55,000 people voted in the competition, which is ostensibly used to highlight the plight of New Zealand's endangered
Isn't that
bird
like
species.
half the turnout of the entire Labour NEC
Yeah,
election?
I think so.
Turning out just to vote for this birds.
Frequently leads to partially tongue-in-cheek tussles between campaigns and attempts at vote rigging. In 2018, hundreds of dubious votes were detected for the shag, and the previous year, more than 100 fraudulent votes were logged for the white-faced heron.
Oh no.
The kakapo, which prevailed on Monday, is a hefty, loud parrot with a distinctive scent, which was brought back from the brink of distinction in the 1990s, but remains endangered. It reminds me that that one of the other stories that I looked at, including, was about the fact that they discovered a new species of monkey and then immediately had to put it on the in danger of extinction list, which I kind of presume is like a formality, because if you only know about one of them, then it really is at risk of extinction.
Your friends, and it's just pointing at nothing.
It's like its feathers have been dipped in a musky array of essential oils that could have come straight from a Middle Eastern perfumier, the competition's website wrote.
What a weird thing to write.
Well, they're selling the bird. You yourself said it sounded hot. You can take it in.
Yeah,
would you have voted for it?
I can't. It's secret ballot, to be honest.
That's fair. You don't want to sell your vote in the New Zealand Bird of the Year Awards. The contest also showcased a number of other unusual candidates, including the Morapork or Ruru, described by Forest and Bird, quote, as
awful.
Somewhat of an enigma.
In what sense?
I don't know.
People do just
I'm gonna have a look.
lot of shit.
And the Piwawau or Rock Wren, which demonstrates, quote, true mountain bravery.
Like St. Bernard's. Rescuing people.
It's like the rescuers themselves.
That's very cool.
Unfortunately, many of New Zealand's native birds are in trouble and need your help, Forest and Bird wrote when announcing the winner. Their habitats
creating
are being
this
destroyed.
race war between them is probably not the best way to achieve that. People are going to be kicking cows to death, whatever they're called.
I'm trying to look up. This is the Ruru.
Yeah, that's how
the one that's somewhat of an enigma.
It's an owl.
It's just an owl.
It's the most straightforward owl I ever saw.
Nocturnal and seldom seen, Ruru is somewhat of an enigma. It's an echo in the night and an
It's not.
and an underdog when up against the showboating birds of the day.
That's a fucking beautiful sentence.
So good.
It's an echo in the night and an underdog when up against the showboating birds of the day. I'd immediately burned itself into my memory as one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. How are you going to describe a bird as an echo and a dog?
It's so
in
funny.
one sentence.
It's not even a mixed metaphor. It's just hugely
drivel.
confused.
That's amazing.
I want to read that sentence to Ben Carson.
Yeah.
See what he thinks.
Well, you'd sign up to that mailing list.
Team Ruru is representing for the night owls among us, and we will make sure Ruru is seen plenty in this year's Bird of the Year competition.
Fucked it, didn't they?
Campaign, literally. So this is on the website, and it literally says underneath the name and like background of the campaign manager for the Ruru.
That's so cool.
This is so cool. Let's have a little look at the rock wren. Oh, this is the rock wren that shows true mountain
that's
bravery.
A sparrow.
Can you name a bird that loves our mountains so much that it never retires below the bushline? Look
wren.
no further than New Zealand's true alpine bird species, weighing less than a AA battery and laying eggs the size of 10-cent coins.
Aww.
These tiny rock bobbers defy all laws of survival and demonstrate true mountain bravery.
They don't elaborate on how and why.
Play my song. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, let's have a
Its
look.
conservation status is, quote,
They're all
in
dead.
some trouble.
Oh no. That's awkward. That's hot, isn't it? It's not
Well, I don't
making
know.
a lot of noise.
It's
It did one bit.
shut up.
Underwhelming.
I want to see.
I'd like to get involved in the political angle and take it like much too far. Like have another member of an opposing campaign like beaten up.
Yeah, break some kneecaps, something like that.
Some
Yeah, it
like,
would be
huge
good.
extortion.
I'm
going
just
on.
seeing if I can get up the sort of like entries for the other birds. I kind of want to see
who else was
how
on
they're
the-
doing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've quickly opened a couple of these.
bird fact.
Yeah,
Bird bios.
there's the Roroa, or the great spotted kiwi,
Mm-hmm.
which is also in some trouble apparently. But
I
I
just
wouldn't be.
assume all birds are in perpetual
I
trouble.
wouldn't be too worried because this one, the only reason I've opened is because it starts its little bio by saying, "This is the kiwi with," and then in all caps, attitude. Oh,
That's
it's a
dunking on the
sassy-
normal kiwi. Let's
yeah,
have a
but
peek.
look at it. Have a look at that stride.
God,
that strut.
It looks like it's about to like bury its whole head in the ground as well, which is a real move.
I think it is. The kakapo, the winner.
Yep.
We already had the bit about it being a very smelly, but a
No.
good smelly
Yeah,
bird.
we don't use that word to imply a good scent.
It was a stinketh bird.
It was I suppose.
We're all cheering, they say, as it waddles back from the brink of extinction.
That's
and
good.
then claim that the kakapo was even endorsed by Stephen Fry.
Nice.
But
know.
my favourite that I've found is this, the takapu, or the Australasian gannet, which conservation status is doing okay. Listen and tell me if you've ever heard of a more terrifying bird.
Okay.
These dive-bombing daredevils are equipped with bubble wrapping on their chest and face to protect them from the impact of the water.
Ooh.
Also, they have no external nostrils. Instead, their nostrils are in their mouth, and they have transformer eyes that can change shape to help them see underwater.
Fucking hell. This is not a real bird, is it? This is someone made it in Roblox.
I mean, that's a picture of it.
That's a
You can see the
seagull.
bubble wrap.
Just a seagull.
Yeah, but it's a
I
seagull
don't-
with no
I'm
external
a bird
nostrils.
truther in the sense that I think there are about eight
Five.
different types.
There are five
at
different
most.
types of bird. Like how there's just like more species of crab than
It's
anything
not
else.
true,
Like
though, is it? There's small, medium, and oh fuck.
and abomination. I had a little look at how the voting works, and it's instant runoff voting.
Okay.
Which is similar to the system they use in local elections, it says. So when you vote, you can rank up to 5 of your favourite birds. With
That's
number
quite
1
limiting.
indicating your favourite bird, number 2 indicating your second
Yeah, I
favourite
get that.
bird, and so on. And then it says this delightful sentence: "It's no problem if you want to vote for less than 5 birds."
That's good to know, yeah. You don't want to split the kakapo vote.
No, exactly. But congratulations from us
Yeah.
here at That's a Shame.
That's the official
Sorry,
That's a Shame
That's
bird.
a Shame. Is it?
For the year. We change it every year.
So wait, just until January or until this time next
No,
year?
it's 12-month period from now.
Okay, well,
From
well
today.
done. I'll set a little reminder on the calendar,
Yeah, and
and,
then
the
we'll tell it to
seagull can be
fuck
next.
Well,
You go kicking them.
you really gathered a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It's near the last of the done, but though it's a comedy with Renega.
And what a bunch of stuff it was. I have to
Oh,
say.
let me tell you.
We went from the exquisite highs of Joseph and his Technicolor grain store to the lows of that made-up bird that they unfortunately lied about on the internet, and that's unfortunate.
Oh,
And I
they
know
don't
why
think
did
they lied about it.
They did. They made that one up with the transformer eyes. There's no such bird. But we thank you, and I speak on behalf of the listeners as well, for putting that effort in and finding those great stories to share that we may otherwise have overlooked. And that's the saddest thing of all, isn't
Exactly.
it?
I don't want you to miss these things.
If
That's
I hadn't
what I'm
heard
worried
that
about
great
most.
underdog echo bird sentence, then I don't know what tomorrow would have been about, to be honest. Now, at That's a Shame, we've got a whole lot of stuff planned for the rest
Plenty.
of the year. I've mentioned the reason for the season already. You better know we're putting out our long Mr. Tickle Arms, diddling their way around the Wattpads of this internet and finding all kinds of fanfic.
Well, you're using a first-person plural there, and I don't know you should. But
Well, that's what we're up to, isn't it? We've got to find the fic. The people are chomping at the bit for the fic. I get emails to that effect.
I'm going to be sick on air.
The daily.
right now,
For the rest of the year as well, we've got some rumblings, I will say, of some kind of like potentially 24-hour stream that we may do in aid of Crisis, the charity
Yes.
that supports homeless people in the UK that normally we do stuff with at Christmas. But this Christmas, I don't know if you've heard, there's the pandemic.
there's the novel coronavirus.
SARS-CoV-2. Not SARS-CoV one. That one's shit.
That was crap.
So yeah, we may do something for that. So if you fancy saving up a few pennies to chuck towards us,
yeah, and if you've got any requests for things you might like us to do
we'll
on
probably
such a stream,
do. Here's some things we could do. Play a game. That's very funny. Here's something else I thought we could do. We could do some live creating of something like live.
We don't want to give people such an explicit peek behind the ramshackle curtain, do we?
Yeah, they'll love to see that.
The thing about that is that it would only take up at most an hour of the time.
We have to make something so huge. Maybe a cake or something, like a multi-tiered wedding cake. We could make. That'd be good.
I'm remembering when we did some streaming earlier in the year, and I don't know if maybe we were just having a kind of collective stroke, but I seem to remember that we were making a huge Bernie Sanders in Minecraft.
Oh fuck! I completely forgot.
I was really worried that I had dreamt that.
Forgot about that.
Was that
How
for one of the
bizarre.
debates?
It must have been, yeah. How weird.
Why were we doing that?
It was really detailed.
No one was there.
Quite frightening to
Literally
look at
no
as
one
well.
was watching. It was the worst thing.
It was a very good thing, I think.
It was very tall.
Sometimes things like that are worse if there are people there, and I think that's one example where like the purity of that art required that no one was watching. So it's probably a very.
We had
worst
to,
time.
I recall, take it down and start again on a bit because what we were trying to do him doing his classic wave, and it was unfortunately just a Hitler salute.
Yeah, it's very hard to render a wave in block form when that's all you're painting.
Yeah.
With. But yeah, for more stuff like that, we'll maybe make another Bernie Sanders, and it'll be fucking a bird. Declan can make that.
I don't.
In Minecraft.
No, I won't.
So that'll be good. What else have we got going on? We've got a Discord, shame.city/Discord. Come and have a chat. You can tag Declan 24 hours a day and he'll always reply within 5 minutes.
That's one of my big things about Discord.
That's the DD guarantee, he calls it. The guarantee, he also sometimes calls it. It's got a lot of different names.
Just get the show over with, please.
An email address.
TAS at shame.city.
And what can people send there?
They can send us anything.
Not anything. Not anything.
Can they not?
No.
Okay, what can
Nothing
they
with an image.
Content ideas.
Yeah, that's good.
They can send some images as long as they're not the bad
Fully
images.
clothed only.
Oh yeah, no, don't send us images of yourself.
Depends what you're doing, I guess. If
Yeah,
you're doing
I
something
suppose.
very funny, you could send it. Like
Yeah.
if you were, say, here'd be a funny image. Say you were in front of, have you ever seen the Leaning Tower of Pisa? Do you know what I mean by
No,
that?
what's it?
It's
What's
this
its
tall
deal?
thing, like a big tower. And what people do is they put their hand up against it. And
Right,
it looks like
actually
they're
on it.
holding it up. No, it's like forced perspective. So you could send us pictures like that, I guess. Subject line, funny image.
We'll talk about them on air for about an hour.
I'll describe it in such
Yeah.
precise detail. It would be better than seeing.
That's good. We could do that for the stream.
Yeah, that'd be good. Finally, reviews.
Crisis will disaffiliate from us.
Shame.city/review or reviews.
Yeah,
or just
please.
click the link. You remember, you're basing it on the whole show. So don't think of any particular episode or even part of an episode and think, I didn't
Unless
like
it was
that bit.
a part or
Unless
an episode that you
part was
loved.
very good, in which
In which
case
case, just go for it.
that's emblematic of the whole
Of the
show.
entire
isn't
show,
it?
yeah.
So 5 stars only, of course, for that one. Until the next episode, well, first of all, patrons over at shame.city/patron.
No,
That's it.
patreon.com/shamecity.
I think you can also do the one I said, but do the one Declan said. They'll be getting an episode on Wednesday, so that will be exciting for them, and it will be very good. They all are.
I think they'll actually get 2 because we owe them one for this
Ooh,
week
that's
that we
huge.
simply
And
didn't
one of them
do.
will be video, maybe. Declan's going to swing
Why
it
do
around.
you have to do this?
That'd be cool.
You have to do this.
And last but
I'd
not
love
least,
to explore I'm going to text your mum about it and see if she knows why.
What do you mean?
See if she knows why you always have to do this.
I don't know what you mean.
Why
by
you have
this.
to take anything that you hadn't expected, you have to, your way of accepting it and kind of like reconciling yourself with it is that you just elaborate upon it with a big lie.
Ah, is that true? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I can't think of a single example.
You
of
say, well, right, like just then, how I said, you said they're going to get 1 piece of content.
Yeah.
And I said, actually, they'll probably get 2 because we missed one this week. And then you went, oh, really? And then you went, oh, and maybe one of them will be a video and Declan will do it.
That's good. That's called
No,
yes and.
No, it's not called yes
the
and.
backbone of
With
improv.
there has to be an implied. In fact, there should at least be an explicit agreement that we're both doing yes and before
I
you
thought
start
we're always
just
doing
firing wild
We're
about
always
things.
on, pal. Yes and. He's going to do 3 videos.
Who's up next?
last of all, I want to just give a shout out. Oh, the Patreon's $5. We really appreciate it. You get a lot of free stuff.
Thank you.
To this very special Instagram account that's popped up, and I'm being constantly pestered to mention. Which is that's good.
yeah.
It's at Rats in Vogue. RATS in Vogue, and it's 4 very nice rats. You're a fan.
I'm a huge fan.
That live in the flat just over there. They're called Ghost, Mouse, Pig, and Witch. Great names across the board. All emojiable as well, which I really enjoy.
That is good.
And yeah, just give them a follow. There's some nice rats over there.
They are nice rats. They're nice people who own the rats.
Yeah.
And they're nice photographs by the people who own
Really
the
good
rats
photos.
of the rats.
Yeah, and funny captions too.
Oh.
That's what
that's
seals
what sells
the deal
it.
for me.
Yeah.
Until next time, I've been Dean Banks. You've been.
I've been Sophia Money Coots.
And we'll see you soon, boys.
Bye, guys.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. Necessity